Let's dive deeper into what can the shape of your data reveal about how your business really performs. Imagine your marketing team comes to you and they want to know that we have heard the top store follows a stable pattern. In our Rossmann sales datasets context, this is store number 57. Now, their question is, can we back this information with data? They might need this information for a number of reasons. For example, they may want to create a campaign that depends on how stable the sales are for the top store. As a data analyst, your job is to examine the distribution shape of daily sales and guide how this should inform their promotional strategy. So let's go to our Rossmann sales dataset on Excel and try to calculate the shape of the data for store number 57. For this, let's first of all filter our data and extract only store 57's information. You can go to the Data tab and add a filter, and from Store ID, pick only store number 57. We remove the tick for everything and we pick only store number 57. So here we have our data for store number 57. Let's make a copy of this data in a new sheet. Let's call this store 57. And paste this information over here. Next, we add a histogram for sales. So we select sales and go to Insert, Chart, Histogram. And here we have the shape of our sales information for store number 57. Let's now see how can we interpret this. First of all, this is not a normal distribution, rather we have a right skewed data. Next, we notice that there is this spike for a lot of values between 0 and 1900. It's almost 173. It's exactly 173. We will look at this spike in a bit, but let's first focus on this main chart. As expected, we see a few values which are very high. These correspond to very high sales for some of the days or for some of the time slots. We also notice that most of our sales are in a specific bin, and this is the bin of 7,600 to 9,500. It means that most of our sales, which are 220, and our total count is 943, as we can see from the bar below, that out of the 943 entries, most of them, 220 of them, are in a common bin. And this bin is 7,600 to 9,500. We also notice that the other 2-3 bins next to this one are also close by. So for example, if not 9,500, they are between 9,500 and 11,400. 164 values are in this bin. So our first impression, and this is sufficient for informing marketing team, is that for most part of our stores, store number 57, the sales is stable. It is in this range between, let's say if we consider these 3 bins, it is in the range between 5,700 and 11,400. But there are many other stores which are performing less, as we can see over here. And there are many stores which are performing much better, which we can see over here. Of course, if we want to develop a promotional strategy, we should focus on this bin, which is in the center, these 3 bins. and they actually represent the majority of our sales data. Looking at this bin, which is representing low sales, we need to explore why we have these low sales values. And for this, we can sort our data according to sales. So we can go to data and sort. Yes, expand the selection. And you can sort for sales, smallest to largest. And we can see that for a number of stores, there the sales is 0. And if we notice, the status of open for most of these stores is also the 0. It means that uh, these stores are actually closed on that specific day, and that's why the sales are coming out to be 0. If we can just filter out these values, the top ones which are 0, and regenerate the histogram, then the bins will be much more balanced. So let's do that. So you can adjust the range of your data for the histogram, and you can do this by right clicking on the histograms data series and specify select data. And here you can specify that instead of all the data points, we scroll down to those rows which are after 0, which is row number 175. So instead of starting from 1, we go for 175. And now our um, histogram is much more balanced, and we can see that now the zeros are gone, and we can inform our marketing team that for most part the data is stable. For store number 57, we see most of the sales happening in this specific range, but there are few stores which are performing much better than the normal range. Of course, if they want to plan their promotional strategy, they should focus on the major part of the data, which is represented by this spike of the histogram.